All right, guys, just wrapped up another 2024 Denali HD 2500. This one's a real good customer. We've done several builds for him, several very similar builds, but he says this one's his favorite yet. So in this one, we got the 4-inch kit. This is the performance kit. We got the 24-inch replica wheels. They're 24 by 9 plus 44 offset. And we got the 38x13.50 Cognito trail graps on it. As you can see, it's got a real nice stance on it. We did add wheel spacers to this setup. This was a close one. We might could have got by on this one with just doing a 3/8 wheel spacer, but he prefers the look of the wider stance. So we did do the bolt-on wheel spacers. We did 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inches. And the reason we did the staggered is because the lift moves the front wheels out just slightly, and that's why you're able to run the factory wheels on the 1250, on 37 1250s. But to compensate and make the track width more even looking, we did the 1 1/4 inch up front, and then the 1.5 inch in the back to even things out. So it turned out pretty nice. So we can get that in focus there for you. You got the ultimate on there. Got the Cognito upper control arms, the Fox 2.0 Resi shocks. This kit's also going to have the Pitman and idler arm brace. And Cognito just released their, let's see if I can get you in here, their Fox single steering stabilizer. And it's got enough clearance for the Pitman and idler arm brace as well, built into their bracket. Let's see if I can get you down there to get a better view. Now, per the customer's request, he did want the front 1 inch higher. So we've got the Cognito torsion keys, and we've got the front adjusted up right at 1 1/4 inch higher than the back, which also gave us some additional tire clearance. So this one's going to be sitting at around 5 inches in the front, and then with a 2-inch block in the back. And as you can see, their new Cognito Alpha upper ball joints there, they're bootless design. I don't know if I've mentioned before, but those are rebuildable as well. If I can get you in here. So here you can see the Cognito idler arm brace, and this is their new design. As you can see, it only has a single jam nut, and the body is actually just going to tighten up against the body of the Heim itself, whereas before it had a double jam nut that, if it wasn't installed properly, could end up putting some preload on the idler and the Pitman arm. So they changed it to this design just to help ensure that every one of the kits is installed the same. And here you can see the new Fox steering stabilizer. You can see that shredder valve right there on the side. That's something that I really like. With that being there, that means I can adjust the nitrogen pressure on the shock to change some of the driving characteristics of the truck. Most of them don't have that, and it's really nice that they've incorporated that into this. Or at least most of them have the needle design, which is a lot harder to adjust. So with that Fox steering stabilizer, since it does have the nitrogen shredder valve that we can adjust on it, if you've got a truck that's pulling in one direction or the other, and you're out of adjustment in your alignment, we can fine tune that to counteract any type of pull that you may have in your truck. So that's kind of a nice design aspect. Obviously the main goal of the steering stabilizer is to absorb any shimmies, shakes, bumps, potholes, anything that the truck feels or hits in the road or off-road, to try to absorb that or minimize that before the driver feels it. It's going to cut down significantly on bump steer, tire vibration, things like that. And when I say that we can adjust the nitrogen, I don't mean that we're just going to adjust it by turning a knob. We actually have to take it off and or at least have access enough to get our nitrogen fill gauges and our tank in there so that we can adjust the pressures on it. So it's not as easy as just adjusting on the fly, but it is nice that we have some adjustment where any other stabilizer on the market does not have that. At least none that we've seen yet. As you see, just a tad low in the rear per the customer's request, right at an inch, inch and a quarter. So we're going to be sitting at 5 inches in the front. Now again, I feel like we can do this 38/13.50 on a 22 or 24. Not on a, I don't like doing it on the 20s. On the 20s, the tire is just too close. But with the bigger wheel diameter, it pushes the bulge of the tire up higher, therefore further away from the upper control arm, and gives you just a little bit more tire clearance to keep from having to add bigger spacers. So you could do that 38/13.50 on a 22, on a 24 with a small 3/8 spacer. I feel like that's going to be a real nice setup. We haven't tried that one yet, but we've got several planned here soon. I feel like they're going to look really nice. Give you one more walk around the truck. So in the rear, of course, you got the Fox 2.0 shocks. I can get that to focus. Got your 2-inch block, bump stop extension. You got some brake line relocation brackets. That's about it in the rear. Of course, you got this one here. I had the question before, why we mount the resi on the front side when we have to actually, if I can get you down here, wrap the line around it. That is because if you mount the resi on the front side, it can hit that bump stop extension there under full compression. So if yours is on the other side, you may want to turn that around. And just like all the 4-inch kits, this one is the non-torsion drop. You see it keeps the torsion bar up above the frame rail. Gives you additional tire clearance or additional ground clearance, and it looks a little bit cleaner. One little trick that we like to add is you can see here, we'll put a little bend in this tab right here. We found that if you don't do that, at full extension, when you're turning, the brake line will pull a little bit tight, and that keeps that from happening. We did do the Kelderman mud flap delete kit. Clamps the back of the fender through here. Did have to get a little bit aggressive on the front bumper trimming and the lower valence. Same amount as normal on your inner fender liner through here. We could have avoided a little bit or a lot of that bumper clearancing by adding a bumper spacer, a 3/4 bumper spacer. But the customer really prefers the look of the truck without the bumper spacer. So he wanted us to trim a little bit more to make that work. Now I will say it still is a little bit tight clearance when you're turning lock to lock on it. It could touch in the right scenario, but that's really how he wanted it. He didn't want the truck any taller, and he really wanted to avoid that bumper spacer. It does clear lock to lock sitting here and in normal driving, but in the right situation, it could rub just a little bit. All right, guys, it's gonna be it on this one. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, stay tuned for more.